And like when I was done, I reached my number, which was I wanted to recruit 300 agents. And I did that. And I coached my top 20%, and they're making $1 million a year. I was like, okay, now what's next? And I was like, something is there out there for me that I'm going to lead people. I'm going to grow them. I'm going to own it. I'm not an employee. And boom. Like the very next week, I got 2 calls, one to open offices in Hawaii, and the second one was to be a regional director.
Welcome to the Our Family Invest podcast, where we explore what happens when family, purpose, and entrepreneurship align. I'm Mike, a former Maui firefighter who reached financial freedom in just 5 years through real estate investing.
And I'm Caroline, a Maui-based realtor here to educate, empower, and elevate my clients to make smart real estate moves, whether right here at home or through my nationwide network.
Together, we're chasing our full potential as individuals, as a couple, and as a family. We're here to build a life that matters, and each week we share the stories of couples who inspire us to love harder, dream bigger, and grow bolder. So join us, and let's learn, share, and grow together. All right, today we are joined by Nicko and Colette Ching-Kazadzis, a couple whose story began with a chance meeting in Hawaii nearly 30 years ago. Colette is a force in the real estate world, having spent decades with Keller Williams as a top executive, regional director, and the founder of multiple market centers across the Hawaiian Islands. Her mission has always been bigger than real estate. It's about building leaders, creating legacy, and helping others realize their full potential. Nicko, a lifelong dirt bike enthusiast, is the founder of Adventure Pursuit Warriors, a business born from his love of the off-road desert riding and the freedom of the open trail. Through immersive motorcycle journeys from California to Baja, he's creating space for riders to connect, explore, and come alive again. Together, they are yin and yang, grounded and wild, strategic and soulful. In today's episode, we talk about building businesses from passion, trusting divine timing, and how to lead with legacy in every season of life. All right, you two, there is so much there that I want to get into, but first, I want to know who you are at your core, but not what you do. And I want you to answer for each other. So if I were to ask you, Colette, who is Nicko on a quiet Saturday morning, what would you say? And then Nicko, maybe you can tell me who is the Colette that only you know.
Nicko's, who he is what you see is what you get. And very calm, laid back, easygoing, probably one of the best human beings I know. And thank God I'm married to him. And he's just a really good person. And he just, what he does for me is he brings calmness in my life because I can get very chaotic. That's why I say we're yin and yang. And very competitive he is. I mean, if we're sitting on the beach in Italy playing tavoli, which is a Greek form of backgammon, he will play everybody on the beach. And he'll get really irritated if he loses a bunch of games in a row, but it's super fun. So that's really who Nicko is. He's really just an authentic, good, big-hearted human being and that likes to just enjoy life.
That's good. All right. Nicko, who's Colette?
Oh, man. Well, I've known Colette since 97. And from when I first met her to where she is today, she's constantly growing. And she's always, from day one, she's always thought about other people. So whether it was friends or families, they always came first. And sometimes she always came second, like, honey, treat yourself to something or do something for yourself, because she was just always so just gracious for everyone. And that hasn't stopped in the last, 27 years we've been married. And it just continues to even, get even stronger as the years go by. So for me, it's just the love that she has for other people and her family.
Can you take us back to that moment where you two met in Hawaii and what was happening in your lives that led you guys to that fateful moment?
Wait, we have 2 stories. Let's see, we're right about to say there's his version and my version. So let me start with my version. So at the time I was actually I've been living in California. It's my primary home. I've been living here since 88, 89. So I would go back to Hawaii, which is where I'm from, to go visit. And I could stay there 4 or 5 days and really enjoy myself. And so at one time I was trying to connect back with an ex. And we were trying to see, we both were divorced. We both had kids. We both each at the time had 1 kid. I was a single mom. And so we were like, hey, let's see how it goes. And he was living in Hawaii at the time. So I said, okay, I'll come and visit. And he says, okay, great. And he goes, come and visit for like a week or 8 days. I'm like, no,
That's a long time.
that's a really long time. Like I can stay like 4 or 5 days. He convinced me. I said, okay, great. So I came with the premise that, we were going to try to see if there was a connection. And so I got there, and within 2 days, there wasn't. And then I was like, oh my gosh, I have 5 more days on the island. So I called a friend of mine, a guy friend of mine, and said, hey, do me a favor. Can you take me out to dinner? I'll tell you why I'm calling you. And he's like, okay. And he goes, I thought you were with so-and-so. I'm like, I know. So I get there, we have dinner, and then I hear dancing music as we're leaving.
Ocean's Bar and Grill.
Ocean's Bar and Grill.
I remember Ocean.
And I'm a dancer. So the first thing, my friend looks at me and he goes, oh no. I'm like, yes. Can we go? Can we go in? Can I dance a few songs? I mean, I'm here for 5 more days. It's not like I'm going to ask you to take me out every night. He's like, okay, fine, but we're not going to stay long. I'm like, okay. And he's a buddy I've known for a really long time. He's like a brother to me. So we go in and we're dancing, and he walks off the dance floor, and I'm like, great, alone again. And so then I'm at the bar, and I see my friend leaves to go to the bathroom. And as he's coming out of the bathroom, I see this really cute guy walking up to my friend. And I'm like checking it out. And then my friend comes back and I go, who's your friend? And he's like, what friend? And I go, the guy you were talking to outside of the bathroom. And he goes, I don't know that guy. I go, what were you talking about? He goes, that. He goes, oh, he just said that my wife's beautiful and he's really lucky. I'm really lucky. I go, what wife? He goes, yeah, not you. He thought you were my wife. I go, well, did you tell him I wasn't? And he goes, I didn't say anything. And he walks off. And I go, were you even going to tell me the guy said that about me? He goes, probably not. I was like, oh, whatever. So that's my side of the story. And then once I figured it out, I was on the dance floor again by myself, and I saw my husband looking at me, and I looked over at him and I said, hey, do you want to, dance? And then we started talking at the bar, and then.
This is so.
Yeah. Yes, it's so true. And then he said, hey, I didn't want to really give him my number. So at the time it was pagers. I don't know if you guys remember pagers. Mm-hmm. And he was like, hey, do you want to go for a hike tomorrow? And I was like, a hike? And I was like, no.
And the newspaper.
Wait.
Okay, sorry.
And then I go a hike, and I'm in my mind. I've been living in LA way too long. I'm like a single mom going to a hike with a stranger. Anything can happen to me. And so I'm like, thank you, but no, thank you. And he goes, well, let me just give you my number. If you change your mind and page, I go, okay, fine, bye. And then my friend and I were driving back. He goes, so what happened? I go, oh, guy, weird. He wanted to go on some kind of hike. And he goes, okay, you've been living in LA way too long. That's actually a thing around here. And I was like, whatever. And that was it. And then the next day, my friend that I was visiting is reading the newspaper. And he's like, hey, want to go for a hike? And I was like, holy cow, that guy was real. And then I paged him later that day. And that was our first date. What's your version?
It's very, very similar, very similar. I mean, most of it was like correct. There was a couple little details there, but yeah, I just saw her in.
You just moved there.
So let me back up a little bit. I just got out of a relationship 5-6 years.
Wow.
Living in Santa Cruz, California. And then we broke up, everything, actually we were breaking up, and then I go, I'm going to move to Hawaii, and if you want to come, you can come with me. I knew she wasn't going to come. Anyway, so I moved to Hawaii, and a buddy of mine, good friend of mine, I told him, going back to Oahu, do you want to go back? He goes, because he used to live there in the military. And I go, yeah, I'll go. So I'll go ahead. I'll find some apartment. Anyways, got an apartment, got a job, and things weren't going as the way I planned it, because the job was what they promised, and then give it to me. Anyway, so I'm kind of not very happy there. Anyway, so it's Saturday night, October 18th. My buddy goes, we're going to Ocean's Bar and Grill. It's ladies' night. Get up off the couch. You look all depressed because I wasn't like happy with the job and just a new town. And so you're going to get up. We're going to the Oceans. So went there. She walked in. I immediately saw her as she walked in. Very different looking. She had these big black rim glasses and not wasn't like ladies' nice attire. Wasn't like wearing a silky dress or something like that. She's just walking in with, a nice blouse and was it a pair of pants or
Her pants.
Yeah.
Short hair.
short hair. She walked in, started dancing on the floor, and I don't know if you've ever seen her dance. She's an amazing dancer, and she was just had the whole floor to herself, and just, people kind of spread it out, and I was kind of watching her from afar. They walked by, the song ended. When they went by the bar, they had a drink or two. It wasn't the bathroom, it was having the bar. Anyways, she walks by, and then he walks by, and I tap him on the shoulder. I go, "Excuse me." I go, "Your wife, she's beautiful. You're the luckiest guy here, and she's a great dancer. And I just want to say, man, you're just the luckiest guy in this bar tonight." He goes, "Oh, okay, thanks." And
So up to that point, it's all the same.
yeah. But she didn't say, "Come over here and dance." She just gave me the eye. She gave me the little nod. She gave me that. That was like the unspoken language of like, "Come over here, sexy thing."
Yeah, that was it. And it was a vacation fling. It was fun. And then he came back out to California to visit me like 3 months later.
Yeah, October 18th, I met you. I came out
Yeah.
December, like 2 months later. I came out to visit her to California,
That was it.
SoCal. Yeah, and that was it.
28 years later and a daughter.
Wow.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That's incredible. Like, so you guys kind of knew right away, like, I like this guy. I like this.
Yeah.
girl.
Well, I came out to see her in December, and I spent like, I think, almost 10 days there. I mean, she's like 10 days. She's like,
I'm a single mom. I just been divorced, and I was in a rough spot for almost a couple years trying to rebuild my life. And so I was out having fun, and he knew that. So when he was like 10 days, I was like, "Oh, that's a long
I was
time."
27 years old, and I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna come visit you." Because I'm from the north. Spent most of my middle-aged years, teenage years in NorCal, like Santa Cruz, San Jose, but I never actually spent time in Los Angeles. Like NorCal, SoCal was like, oh, I could never go to SoCal. Anyways, I came to SoCal in December, and it was like sunny and warm, and we're rollerblading down the beach, strand, and and like 75-degree weather. And I just came from Hawaii, so it's like, oh, I love this weather, because NorCal is a little bit different. And it was December. And so anyway, we spent 10 days together, and I flew back, and I landed, and I quit my job, and I bought another ticket back to.
He didn't tell me this though.
Yeah, so I didn't move to LA. I moved back to NorCal. I called my mom up. I go, "Hey, Mom, job didn't work out. Is my room still available?" She goes, "Yeah, come over here. Just still there." And so I moved back to my mom's place because I didn't have a job, and no card or nothing, and then found a job within a couple days, and just so happened they had an office down in SoCal. I got transferred a couple months later,
Nice.
and moved in.
Yeah.
And it went by pretty quick. I met her October 18th, December.
Well, he waited 6 months.
Yeah, and I moved into her place in May of 98, and then we got married in February of 99. So it was all pretty quick.
Yeah.
With the 15 months from the day I met her to the day we got married was 15 months.
Yeah.
I love that. I mean, it sounds like you were very calculated on your progress, your course, right? Like,
I
quit my job. Yeah, I'm gonna go back, live with my mom if I have to, and just like make this thing work, right?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Like, "Oh, I didn't like the job." I'm like, "Oh."
I didn't want to move to Los Angeles and scare her. I wanted to baby steps. So
Wise. Very wise.
I was
really
I was
wise.
commuting back and forth between LA and San Jose. Fly back every couple weeks, come visit her, and then it just got progressively stronger and stronger. And then finally, she told me that she loved me, and SoCal.
That's
Transfer for the job, and everything's kind of lined up.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Good story.
It's a good one. That's
Our
definitely one of
daughter
the better
loves
ones.
to hear it.
I want to get into the adventure riding. So, Nicko, a lot of people dream of starting a business around their passions, and a lot of times that doesn't work out very well. So, what made you decide to go down that route, and like take us through that journey?
Well, the last couple careers that I've had it kind of just happened organically, meaning like I wasn't specifically looking for that type of career or way to make some money. Because when I met her, I was in the automotive business. It was like inspections for banks and car companies and leasing companies, and I did that for about 10 years. And then in 2010, CrossFit. If you ever done CrossFit, was a big, or still was then really starting to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And I got into the CrossFit business of making these particular brand of things. And I was passionate about CrossFit, and now I'm making money selling stuff to CrossFitters. So that was my 40s. And then now COVID came, and then obviously 2021, and my business just went down the drain because all the gyms were closed. And then I go, what am I going to do here? So I got another business, worked great. But during COVID, I found another passion of motorcycles, because in my 20s, I rode dirt street bikes, so like the little Ninjas, and then my 30s, I had Kiana, so I wasn't riding bikes back then, just helping raise our daughter. And in the 40s, I got into side by sides or like quads, and so desert riding and camping and stuff like that. And then now here we are in COVID, turning 50. Everyone was getting into different things, bigger side by sides, big Jeeps. I didn't want to get that, so I wanted to get back into motorcycles. I didn't want to do street bikes. I didn't want to do motocross. So I wanted to get into dual sporting, which is like, it's a off-road motorcycle, but it's plated. So it's meant for the off-road, but you can take it on-road to get to other places, so it's not illegal, so you don't get pulled over by the cops. And man, as soon as I got that first bike in April of 2020, I was hooked. And then I met all these great people, and then going down to Mexico, Baja, with some friends and meeting people down there. And so I've been doing that for the last 3-4 years. And then as far as, I never thought of it as a business, and I just happened, again, accidentally, organically, I was with some friends riding, and they were doing a tour with some people that were out of town. And I asked, hey, do you mind if I join you guys and kind of tag along? And he knew of me from another friend that I was a good rider. He goes, yeah, you can come join us. We're some people here, and you just kind of mix in wherever you want. And when you have a group of people, there's the leader and there's the sweeper. The sweeper kind of makes sure everyone stays together and they don't lose anyone, like kind of herding sheep. So the sweeper got in an accident. He broke his wrist. And so I was with him when it happened. So I was able to help him and another guy, and we helped him get back to camp. And then Steve, the owner of the company, goes, hey, John, the sweepers can't ride. Do you mind filling in for the next couple of days? He goes, yeah, sure, no problem. So I worked with Steve for 3 days and had a great time. He goes, man, you did a great job. I'd like to bring you on more and more. So I've been working with Steve for the last couple of years with Coyote Trail Adventures. And he's in his 60s, and he's getting ready to retire soon. And so him and I have been in the talks of possibly buying that business from him when he's ready. So we've been talking, and maybe this year, but maybe next year. He hasn't given me a set date yet. But anyways, that's my passion now, is taking people on tours. I'm with Coyote. I'm doing my own little tours as well on the side, meeting people from all over the place, and and getting paid to ride a dirt bike in the desert and hang out yeah, the people I've met and the journey I've been on, it's been amazing.
Here's a little aside, but I got my first bike in 2007. I was a little older, so I didn't ride as a kid. But I was hooked right away. Right. And this was a Harley at the time. But I always wanted, like, I think shortly after that, I don't know if you've ever seen this series. One of the best documentaries I ever saw was Long Way Down, Long Way Around.
I'm watching it now.
Oh,
yeah. The new one came out.
Another new one?
Yeah. It's Long Way home, I think. Yeah. So now they're like now it's current now. It's like from last year, actually.
Oh, cool.
Going from his house in Scotland all the way to London, but
that's the one
but it's long way around. So it's
I see.
From Scotland to England, they're going like 1,000 miles around. I mean, just in a whole different direction, going towards Finland and all these different areas, and then
cool.
Back to London. So
yeah, those are the best. I'm gonna have to now put that on my list. And
yeah, I watched that show. And I get emotional, just like, because I know how they're feeling when they're on the road with each other, and how
unbelievable.
There's things you see in the conversations that you have.
Yeah. So that, like, to me, that's what I think of when I think of what you're doing here, like a smaller version of it, of course, but doing some kind of a trip like that, it's more than just riding, and it's more than just physical. It's connection, right? What happens when you get a group of riders out in nature, when you get them disconnected from the world and reconnected to themselves?
Yeah, well, I've done like moto camping trips where you pack everything on your bike and you live off your bike. So you sleep with your bike. You're in the middle of nowhere. Sometimes you go into cities to get supplies, but pretty much you're on your bike. For the last trip I did was 6 days with two friends of mine. And after that 6 days, we get back, we're back on our trucks and we're just hugging each other and like, just like, oh man, that was just so amazing. Cause we had breakdowns, we had fights, arguments and like, but at the end of the day, we just sat around the fire and talked about, like what issues we had today and then it was usually quickly the discussion that went to like, we fixed that issue. Now let's talk about, our friendship or maybe some issues we're having with at home or with spouses or with kids or just looking at the stars. So the conversations went in so many different directions, from like, emotional stuff to like just, guy talk, just being silly and fun.
That's awesome.
I
The
love that.
bonding.
Yeah,
It's just
bonding,
the bonding. Yeah, yeah. And,
Yeah,
and working
and
together
out
as a
of that
team.
connection, right? And out of that connection, you may be purchasing a business. So
Yeah.
merging passion and profession, what have you learned about yourself?
What have I learned about myself? I'm pretty resilient when it comes to change, which means like I'm not stuck. I try not to be stuck in a cookie cutter. Like, okay, this is your life. This is the way your life is meant to be. And so people live 30, 40, 50 years in the same relationship, same job, and they're not happy. But what I've learned is that I've always done things that make me happy. And I'm married to this wonderful woman, and she still to this day makes me happy. What I'm doing with my career, it makes me happy. And if I'm not happy with something, then I kind of veer off to something else. So
Love
that's what
that.
I've learned I'm not stuck in a mold.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, that's good. Let's get to Colette for a little bit here, because Colette, you are pretty amazing. You've done some amazing stuff. You've launched market centers across 4 islands. You've led over 50 offices. But I want to know, what is one win that you're most proud of that no one else really sees?
People. What's happened to the people that I've impacted? A lot of people may not know the people that I've led in the past. Or one of my favorite examples and stories is I was on Facebook the other day, and this really big top agent that I remember recruiting back in 2007 when I was a team leader. She came from another company, a more traditional company, and she told me what her goals were. And, it took me almost 2 years to recruit her to the company. And I said, okay, if I can get you to these goals and you can live this life, would you be open and interested in coming over? And she said, yeah, and she did. And we're now talking, I've left the company. I've gone on to do other things. She's gone on to do other things. And I helped her start her team and build her team. And she was posting the other day on Facebook and where she lives now after the pandemic, which I knew might happen to her. She's moved to the south of France. So she lives there full time, still runs her California business through some partners that I've introduced her to that I recruited. So that's a really great example. Like, she's living the dream. And she was one of the top producing agents in my company when I left. And so she just followed the systems and the models, but it's really the people. And then there are people that may not have been that successful, but I might have impacted their lives and got them into leadership or got them into something that they love doing. So it's really about the people. That's why I do what I do. And that's something that's not tangible. I know it because I know these people. And even though 4 years later, I don't see them, I still get a call or a text, go, you really mentored me. You changed my life. You affected. Now I have this position and it was thanks to you. So things like that.
Yeah, I love that too. That's something where it's, one of my favorite books is The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People.
Yes.
And it's an old book, but it touches on so many core principles. And one of them is think win-win, right? And when you think about helping other people get to their goals, you're helping yourself reach your goals too. And that is super, super powerful. And I love hearing you say that.
Well, one thing I'd like to add is what happened was before the financial crisis in 2007 and 8, we owned with 2 partners, 13 properties in Arizona, right? And that's when the short sales were happening and it was a nightmare. Knock on wood. We didn't lose our, you know what. And I shifted my thought process of how to create wealth. And it went from real estate and profitability, which is what I did, by the way. I was in sales, to people and businesses. So in 2008, 2009, I was still the team leader, but by the time it was about 2012 and 13, and I got the opportunity to open the offices in Hawaii, that's when my philosophy of investing was about investing in people and businesses. And I don't regret that decision. Like when the whole, short-term rental and all that, and people were buying up properties, I was like, God, I should still go back and buy some more things. And then I was like, I'm so invested in all these businesses with people, right? And that was my whole thing. And then to give the people more opportunities. So yeah, it's all about shifting perspective and always thinking outside the box, but still majoring in what you know best. And I know real estate best and I know the industry best. And yet, how can I help other people? How do I elevate them?
I think that you touch on a lot of things there that are so good and so deep. And I'm sure that you have seen people step into their purpose, so to speak. And I'm curious if either one of you can answer this. Was there ever a moment where you feel like you saw your partner step into their purpose?
I can speak for him. I feel for him, like what he said, like when he got into CrossFit, like he went from weighing, I don't even know how much he weighed, but you got into this mind mode. You know how those CrossFitters are, right? They were extremely focused. And his body, he'd like a 12 pack, whatever. He had like, abs that I didn't even know existed. But he got into that competitively as well as in a business. So he's one to me, like I admire that. Like that's where we're completely opposite. I need a strategy. I need a system. I need to know that's the direction. Him, it's like, oh yeah, whatever floats his way that makes sense. I'm like, how do you do that? And so I think he's so blessed because I'm a manifester, but I think subconsciously he's just as much as a manifester, That's me speaking.
That's great. Whatever she said, that same thing. Yeah, I just tend to like passionate about things, and when I'm passionate about things, I just focus on it. Like when I was passionate about her, that my objective was to be with this woman, and and I got her, and then CrossFit now with the off-road motorcycles. Now I'm 50 some years old, and so I don't know. It seemed like every 10 years, my passion changes, and not saying that it won't change again. That's just I'm always looking, or not looking, but always adapting to, what makes me happy and what I'm passionate about.
Hey family, real quick. If you'd rather watch your content, head over to Our Family Invests on YouTube. You'll find this episode and all our episodes over there. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your takeaways in the comments. Now, back to the show. Yeah, someone told me on average every 10 years, it's a great time to reinvent yourself. And also when you're married, because you have different stages in life, when you're a parent, when you're newlyweds, when you're building career, when you're enjoying life, it's like you get to remarry that person and grow in that space. So sounds like you guys keep doing that because 28 years later, it's going strong and seems like it's even better.
And we're empty nesters now, so our kids are growing up. I mean, her first child is an adult now, but our daughter is 23, is an adult as well, but she's younger. She's 23. But they're different parts of the country. But her and I, we still do things together. She does things on her own. I do things on my own. So that's a good balance.
I think that's the one thing that we always said. I mean, because our marriage hasn't been smooth sailing the whole entire time. It's never going to be. And I always say, like the every 10-year thing, that's why we renew our vows on the 10-year mark versus the 5, like we did Italy when we did our 20-year. But it's because we always said we put each other first and we love our daughters, but we're not going to stay. You know how some people stay because of their kids? We're not going to be one of those. Like it's either we choose each other and we want to work together and be in this marriage, or if it's not working for one of us, we don't use our kids as an excuse, well, I have to stay because of the kids. So our daughters were never that, and they know it too. They know it too. So, and they've been through our hardships. So
Sure.
they know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it makes empty nesting a lot easier when you've chosen each other over the years.
And, like he has his own interests. I have my own interests. I travel a lot. He travels a lot. We travel together a lot. And that's just our thing,
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Colette, can you tell us a little bit about the community that you're building for women? Why this? Why now?
I really feel like after the pandemic, there was a lot going on, a lot of mental stress, there were so many gaps and in wages and people and communities and how they were going to get to where they had to get to. And my biggest thing was I was always working on people and helping opportunities, connecting those things. But I got together with a friend of mine. Her name is Antoinette Perez, and I met her through the company that we're at. And she has a mission, and her mission is that she wants to bring in the wage gap for women of color. That's her thing. And I said that, well, I would love to build a community that has to do with women, and it could be women of color. And it's more about disadvantaged women. If they don't have a mentor, they don't have the means, they don't have the guidance or the path. So we're still in the brainstorming process. We've been working on it for 6 months, but it's really about bringing in this community and providing an all-female community, honestly, to help those that are disadvantaged. And the company it'll probably be a nonprofit, but it will be for profit at some point because businesses also need to make money. So that's the thought, is to help women of color and help them in any way we can, whether they're just looking to make a living. There's 3 categories people are always in their lives: men, women. It's making a living, crafting a lifestyle, because once they've made money, it's like, how do I want to have my lifestyle? And then building a legacy. So we want to have an audience and influence and help an audience that are in any of those 3 areas. Move from having nothing to having something. Because like I said, I was a single mom. I didn't graduate from college. I don't have a formal education. My last year was 12th grade. And, I was from a very dysfunctional family. So there were no mentors for me. I didn't know how I'm shocked that I went from where I was when I think about it 30 years ago to where I am today. And it was all because of books. I mean, really, and my wanting to self-improve and grow.
Yeah, that's really good and really important too, because we have spent the last few years making sure that we are around people that push us and trying to learn and to grow and put mentors in place that help us, because we never had that before. And until we started getting a little taste of that, it started helping us grow and think bigger and expand what's possible. Right. And I love earlier you said that you are a really good manifester, and Nicko too. What does that look like in real life? How is that your superpower?
Well, how I manifest and how he manifests is probably 2 different things. I mean, I'm literally, when I say I'm a manifester and that's my superpower, like, I believe anything is possible. The biggest quote I had when I was a real estate agent and I was moving from Hawaii to LA, which is really hard to try to build another career after I had left Hawaii, was, if you can conceive and believe, you can achieve. So it's always been in my mind that when I want something, whatever it is, if it was, to make a certain amount of money, to have a house, to be with somebody who's a nice, kind human being, and, I was attracted to them and we had fun together, whatever it is. It wasn't the vision board concept of it. It was more like really writing it down and understanding that that's what I wanted. And even in my businesses, and then things just show up. I mean, like when I left the team leader role in 2012 or 13, it was the first time I had been an employee after being in real estate sales for 20 years. I was a team leader for 8. And a team leader is like a manager in an office, and I'm an employee. I get paid a certain salary. My job is to recruit, train, and coach. And like when I was done, I reached my number, which was I wanted to recruit 300 agents. And I did that. And I coached my top 20%, and they're making $1 million a year. I was like, okay, now what's next? And I was like, something is there out there for me that I'm going to lead people. I'm going to grow them. I'm going to own it. I'm not an employee. And boom, Like the very next week, I got 2 calls, one to open offices in Hawaii, and the second one was to be a regional director. Like, right? So, I mean, I earned my way to that and I showed up. It doesn't just happen. You have to have the activities and you have to have the action. But that's what I mean when I say that.
Yeah.
I like what you said there, because one of the things that I'm hearing is you didn't just like wish it and put it on the vision board and like wait for it to come. You also took the actionable steps to make sure that it was coming, right?
Yes.
That's great.
Yeah, absolutely.
She definitely is, we're, like you said, totally opposite in that way. And just to see her, where she started and to see where she's become. I mean, before she could barely speak in front of a room of 5, 6 people. And then, I remember her first big speech was talking in a movie theater to a bunch of Keller Williams agents. She had all these note cards and she was like, and then she goes, she just chucked them and goes, she just came from the heart. Everything she wrote down, she didn't need it. She just came from the heart. And then out that day, that she completely changed her as far as like, being able to be more comfortable speaking. And same with me. When I started teaching CrossFit, I was always the one that was always quiet. And now I'm like,
Barking.
We'll have dinner parties. I go, okay, everyone, tell me something good that happened to you. So my wife will look like, who are you? So like things that we do, things that we've done in our work career has kind of made us grow as personally as well. Like, more comfortable, more confident, more outgoing and not complacent.
Yes. Well, I have been witness to Colette's presentations, and they are fantastic and engaging and interesting. There aren't people sleeping, so that's always a good thing. What's a mindset shift that's changed everything for both of you?
For me, it's my mind. It's really my mindful mornings routine. I've always had a routine, but recently, I've really, over the last, I think 2 or 3 years, I've really tuned in to where it's like, it's non-negotiable. Like you cannot talk to me before a certain time. I won't answer texts. People know, my assistants know, everyone knows. But I used to always get up early and go work out, right? And whatever. But 3 years ago, I started to meditate. And this year, my challenge is to write in a journal every day. And I'm on my 146th day since the beginning of the year. And I just love the process. So it's in the morning, I need a good 3 hours. And that includes taking a workout, and that's doing a workout. And I'm in a rewire stage of my life, right? So I'm in that next chapter and I'm rewiring. I'm not retiring. Everyone goes, when are you going to retire? I go, why would I need to retire? I'm like, I'm having fun. I'm working with people I love and I'm making money. What am I going to do? Garden? I don't garden. I mean, how many walks can I?
I've been gardening.
Oh yeah.
You're
orchids.
for orchids. She's
regrowing orchids.
Before she never
Wow.
was able to do that.
I used to give the dead ones away and then my housekeeper's sister would regrow them. I'm like, how do you do that? And now I'm regrowing them. So
That's amazing. Okay, well.
And baking.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm baking.
Wow.
Yes.
You're doing all the things.
Who are you?
I know, exactly. So it's mindful mornings. That's really created a mind shift for me and it's made me so calm. And that carries through to Hawaii too. When I go to visit Hawaii, I don't get scheduled until after 10 or 11.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what's your mind shift?
I feel like as I'm getting older, the opportunities are getting, not the opportunities, the time is less, meaning, nothing's guaranteed, and I've had some friends who got sick, who passed away, severely injured, or just one, it's something that changed their life drastically when things were going really well. So I've just learned that, we're not promised tomorrow. And, every day that I have with her, is a gift. And that I'm just trying to not have a little notch of like bucket list things I still want to do before my day ends. And again, it could be tomorrow, it could be next week, but we don't know. But there's still things I want to do with her and things I want to do on myself because she won't go camping for 8 days in the middle of the desert, with no bathrooms. So
yeah.
So it's certain things that I want to do still personally, and things with,
and I love that for him,
and things that I want to do with her together as well. And that's knowing that don't wait for tomorrow, just gotta make plans for today.
I think it's valuable to have your own identities and to be a couple and to be a unified front, but also to have your own interests and dreams and
Absolutely.
go after them. So I support you to go into the desert and camp without Colette for 8 days.
Thank you. And you'll find me at a hotel somewhere.
Because I have an RV, right? And so I'll do all these road trips, and I go, hey,
Oh, there you go.
and then so what we've been doing the last couple of trips is like, okay, I'm going here, and she goes, okay, why don't you fly there? So she'll meet me there. She'll fly there. We'll spend 3-4 days together.
Yeah.
And then
I fly back.
and then I'll continue on my journey wherever I'm going. You know,
We did that in Vancouver.
We did that in Vancouver, but
And like we're going to Vegas next weekend with our daughter and her friend. We're all going to see Coldplay
In this year,
at Allegiant. At the Allegiant.
Allegiant.
At the Allegiant.
so
Nice.
fun.
Yeah. So my daughter's flying in from Dallas. Her girlfriend's flying from here. He's driving the RV and I'm flying, and then we're all going to hang out. And then he's going to go off to Canada for 8 days? 8 days riding.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
she's been in my RV once, and so that was, and so I give her props for that. She didn't have to sleep in it because I got her in another accommodations.
She walked in.
That's her cave. That's his cave space. I'm honoring that.
My man.
That's your man cave.
I love
That
it.
you deserve that. That's all you.
All men should have a mobile man cave. I love this.
I got my
can get
man
down
cave.
with
I got my
that.
garage as my man cave that's here, and I have my man cave outside, which is on wheels. And
Perfect.
Yep.
I could definitely get on board with this. Okay, so for a young couple who's stuck in survival mode, but they do want to build something bigger, what is something you could suggest to them?
I think what's really important from my standpoint is as long as the goal ultimately is to whatever it is, if it's to buy a house, if it's to go travel somewhere or take a drink, whatever it is, as long as the goal and the path is the same, then to me, it's like if you're in survival mode and you can barely pay your bill or whatever, then you got to think about like, what do you need to do extra to make up the difference? And it can be as basic as go pick up a book about budgeting and managing money. Let's just start with that. Like none of us grew up or went to high school and took, economics 101 or how to live 101 or how to save 101. And so fundamentally, I learned about money and investing all through books. Like I was just reading and I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to step here. So it's just, if it's about going beyond survival and you want to thrive, why don't you start with the basics and understand money? How you make it, how you keep it, how you pay debt off. Like just let's start with the simple basics.
That's a good idea.
You can't go from A to Z.
Right.
You know what I mean? What do you have to do in your job to make money? There was a time I had 6 months left in an account. I was raising a 6-month-old. And if I didn't start making some deals happen, I might have been on the street. And I got back on the phones. I started cold calling. I started calling my database. I had to do it. And within 60 to 90 days, I was back up and running. But what do you have to do? Whatever line of work you're in.
You mentioned your daughter. So having kids, how has that changed the way you look at life? Because pre-kids, it's different. After you have children, how has that shaped the way you both look at life?
I never thought I'd have kids. And first, I just wanted to be with her, and then because she was a little bit older than me, and so she already had a child, so I figured she'd plan with with her daughter, and or my stepchild, and then she gave me the opportunity, she gave me the opportunity. She said, honey, this is, if you want to have a child, this is the date. After this, I'm not
I did.
I'm not having it. I'm not going to have a child at this age. I want to do other things as I get older. And so she gave me that choice. I go, okay.
2 years later, right under the wire, literally, he was like, okay, I'm ready. I go, you're ready for what?
Yeah. And then she got pregnant, and then just wasn't meant to be, but we lost the first one, the topic. So it was pretty early. And then, so that was my way out. Okay, I said it once, but didn't change anything. We tried again, and then we have our beautiful daughter. So,
and he's super close with her.
And so, and just raising our daughter together. And that was, the first, 10 years of our childhood with her was just focusing on her. And then she got into soccer and high school, and then she had more freedom. And then we kind of found our own identities as far as like other passions instead of just raising a kid. She was always working and I was working as well, but she was,
How did it change you though, having Kiana?
um,
I don't think it made you more patient.
yeah. There's certain times I'm like, God, Nicko, why did you do that? Yeah, as far as being a man, it's just that there's more than just myself. You know,
Yeah.
I have this beautiful child we have to raise together and instill good values and good habits, and I think we did a pretty good job. Man, I look at other kids like, oh man, thank God that's our kid. But we did the best that we did, and we I think we turned out two great kids.
And you have a great relationship with Kiana.
Yeah, and now we still talk all the time. And now that she's empty nester, obviously that I'm really, I miss being that close with her, but I let her have the freedom to, fall in love and get her heart broken, and learn about life and
Young adult life.
the responsibilities it takes.
Yeah.
And then just being able to be a friend and a father and offer some guidance that learn from the mistakes that I made and hopefully she's making.
You brought up something that makes me curious, because your daughters are now women, right? How has your role changed from the time that you helped raise them to the time that they became women? Like, that it's a different journey being a dad to becoming, I would imagine, more of a friend or a mentor, right?
For me, I mean, I guess they get older, and you try to, let them spread their wings, as what they say, let them figure it out, fly and fall and fly again and make their own mistakes. But, as a father, when you see them fall, it hurts, but we've been through that. We've all lost or got hurt or heartbroken or something like that, where you know what, you're going to be fine. You're going to be fine. And so just being able to let that go and let them know that she'll be fine. She'll figure it out. And she's my baby girl still, but yet she's a woman now, and she needs to build up that resilience and that like her mom, like don't let anything hold you back and stop you from what you want to achieve. And so, that's been a great part of it, just watching them do that.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, for me, they're very different. So, I had one as a single mom surviving, and they have two totally different lives. The way they were raised, their fathers, the common denominator is me, and that shows up a lot in their personalities. But one's the artist, the writer, the other one's the academic, the athlete. Just simply to answer your question, I went from being very selfish to very selfless. And as adults, I'm always, I help them, but now I'm more like, like what Mel Robbins says, let them. Like, if they're going to fail, they're going to fail. I can't help them every turn, or they're never going to learn.
Yeah.
So, my oldest daughter, she moves around a lot, and she's on her like 5th place, and she's like, I'm in Brooklyn now. I'm like, oh, I love that for you. And, and she's like, I'm going to be fine. I'm like, okay, great. And our other daughter's in Texas, and she's taking a gap year, and she's going to move maybe to New York or come back to LA. So at that point, I'm allowing them to be who they're going to be. By the time your kids are 7 years old, their personalities are already coming. The commitment that Nicko and I had for Kiana was that we would be there for her in all her sports and athletic. Like, one of us would always be there. And that's really made her, I believe, who she is. Like, we're both very physical. And so she's like a yoga instructor full time now, while going to school, while getting her master's, because she needed to be physical. She couldn't just sit around. So I think those are the good things that our kids have of us. And my oldest is the artist. She loves music like me, and she's writing. She's really a good writer, and she's just very free spirited.
I love that.
Yeah.
So you've mentioned a couple things, Mel Robbins' book, Let Them. That's amazing. You've mentioned Italy, these places. I want to know, who are 3 people or books or places that inspire you?
Or a combination?
I'll go for me. My grandfather. I didn't have the opportunity to be an adult and know him. This was only through my childhood up until my teens. And he's from Greece. So I go to Greece every summer and spend time with him. My parents would send us out there and spend a month, 2 months, 3 months out in Greece every summer for 10, 12, 13 years in a row. And Kazadzis, the name, it's on this island. Everyone knows everybody. And so the name is your word. The name is your honor. So if you steal an apple, the whole town knows. If you do anything wrong, the whole town knows. And he was very on, being a man and being honest and being, you say do something and follow up. And I've learned that from him. Of course, sometimes you forget that thing, but I always look back at my grandfather and think, God, man, he was, for me, looking back, he was just, ideal man as like, take care of his family and my father's the same way. Whenever we talk about it, he still teary eyes because he passed, my grandfather passed away years ago. So, he still talks about it, or a certain Greek song comes up and he remembers him singing that song to his mother. It gets real emotional. So that my grandfather, my father, because he's instilled these things that, that learn a trade. When you say something, do it. And then Greece is again, a place that just means a lot to me because that's my child. Wasn't going to camp as a kid or going to the lake. I was going to Greece and, helping my grandfather in his garden and working in the restaurant. So these are all like memories and things that just real important to me.
So for me, a person that inspires me is my father-in-law, actually, which is his dad, Theo. He's been through a lot. He gives so much. I've watched the way he lives life. Him and his wife are great. Like they have this huge RV. They travel together. They travel apart. Like he's just a good man. And since I wasn't as close to my dad or my biological mom, and my dad passed away at a really young age, I love that Nicko has such a great dad that way. And my daughter has a great, grandfather figure. So as person who's inspired, who had nothing, built something, lost everything, got it back, lost it again, rebuilt it. And yet I look at him and he's living his best life in his 70s. And so that inspires me. Places that inspire me, my happy place is Italy. I go every summer and, we go every summer, and it inspires me because the people that we've gotten to know over the last 9 years, they come from all parts of the world. And it's so interesting when you meet people from other parts of the world, country outside of the US, Europeans, and they just really, they're all good people and they ground you. And it's like a family. Whenever we all come, we see each other every summer, and again, I didn't really have that lavish life growing up. So now at this stage of my life, I can enjoy it and really experience it. Italy is one of my favorite and most inspirational places. Books. I'm really big on books. And, if we're talking to entrepreneurs out there and how they're going to survive, I think like the basic books, as I was saying, like, there's 3 that I can talk about: The Psychology of Money, The Soul of Money. So Psychology of Money, The Soul of Money, I think is Lynn Twist, and Psychology, I don't remember his name. And then The Science of Getting Rich.
Yep.
And when you think about The Science of Getting Rich, you think it's like this big book. It's a book that's like super thin and you can read it in an hour. And it's just about the concept and how you have to wrap your mind around a possible thinking. And I got that book. I was recommended that book by a coach, The Science of Getting Rich. And I read it in the beginning of every year. And I did that for like 10, 15 years just to get my head straight. Because in sales, when we're in sales, we have no idea what our business is going to look like by the end of the year. So if I can go in the year with a mindset of knowing and understanding, I will have 12 sales. I will buy 5 whatever the thing is, then it's going to happen. I'm just telling the universe that that's what's going to happen. Right. So,
yeah. In one sentence, what would you whisper to your younger self? You guys have done so much and lived so much life. What would your younger self need to hear?
To your younger self.
So I happen to see myself like
He's whatever, 19.
what I say to for me, I would say, I would tell myself, I'm so grateful that you said, excuse me, at Ocean's Bar and Grill. That excuse me to this person I did not meet, changed my life.
Oh, wow.
You know,
I was not expecting that. But you're
because I met a great woman. I have a great daughter, half stepdaughter, 2 daughters. I have a great life with this amazing woman. We've had some great adventures and experiences. And so, yeah, I would see myself, go, good thing you said, excuse me.
For me, I would say you're capable, you're worthy, it's possible, and keep moving.
Yeah, that's good. Man, 2 good answers. I like both of those. All right, you guys, we're going to get you out of here on this. We like to close each episode by saying we learn, we share, and we grow. And we want to know, what is one thing that you've learned recently that's kind of made you stop and breathe and see life a little differently?
So for me, real quick, I had something happen to me last year that it was a fluke thing, but it really took a hold of me, and it made me realize that, you know, the saying, stop and smell the roses. That's a real thing. We need to. So nowadays, whenever I'm walking or I'm by flowers, especially if they're roses, I literally will sit there and smell them. So I go every Friday, I go for a 5-mile walk. And if a friend is with me, she goes, are we going to stop and smell it? I'm like, yep, we are. And it's changed me, because some are really fragrant, some aren't, some are flat, but the colors are beautiful. And just really, all this means to me is I'm being present and fully there in the moment of whatever I'm doing. So that's changed me.
Well, kind of like what I said before, but
Your friend.
my friends, just how life isn't, again, guaranteed. So when there's something I want to do, I'll say to her, hey, honey, let's do this. Let's go here. Let's put this on our list of places to see or things to do. Because, you know, like aside from breathing and eating and working, there's so many things out there I still want to experience, and I want to experience with her. There's certain things that I experienced already that I wish she was there, but there's no way she would go there because it would just be totally out of her comfort zone. But there's places that I still want to see that, like, oh, man, Colette can do this and we can do it together. So it's about experiences.
Yeah, experiences.
And not so much, like, I'm trying to downsize my things. Like, you know, I just own my truck because I don't need a truck. I have my RV and I have a bicycle I can ride around town. So I'm just trying to keep things simple, but keep on adding experiences to my list of possessions and not physical.
That to us, we definitely resonate with. Like, experiences are wealth to us.
Mm-hmm.
So I love that.
One of the things we're talking about is, in a couple years, what would it look like if we could rent out our house for 3 months and just go travel, right?
Yeah.
And just go be in Europe and places for a month at a time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Pretty doable.
Yeah.
Sounds very similar to our goals.
Yeah.
Thank you both so much for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, for taking the time. If our audience wants to connect with you, to follow your adventures, to take a ride, where can they connect with you folks?
I'm on Instagram under Colette Kaz. Yeah.
Mine's Adventure Pursuit Warriors on Instagram.
Awesome.
So we'll link
It
those
has my
in the show
adventures,
notes.
and it has my also my personal life with my daughter and my wife. So it's kind of like I don't have a business and a personal account. Everything is all together. So
Same.
Perfect.
Same.
I do everything. Like I go on a vacation and it's about an experience with my family, and sometimes I go on a ride that same time. Like, okay, I'm gonna go ride for a day and then I'll come back and see you guys. So it's like it's always together.
Love it. Guys, thanks again. You guys have been amazing. We really appreciate this.
Appreciate
You're welcome. Thank you, guys.
Until next time. Bye. Aloha.
Thanks for being part of the family today. If you want a closer look at our journey through real life, business, and all the wild adventures, follow us on Instagram at Our Family Invest. And for free resources to help you on your own path, head to ourfamilyinvest.com.
If you like this episode, send it to a friend. And if you're feeling extra generous, drop us a quick review. It really helps us grow this community. Thank you so much for being part of our family today. We really, truly appreciate you.